Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome once again to another Tuesday evening right here at the Dog Pound. Uh, how is everyone? And I hope you're enjoying your evening. We got a couple guests today. Miss Melissa Smith is going to be joining us. As a matter of fact, she's right here beside me, along with Chop Chop Corley a little bit later on. Good evening, Melissa. How are you doing?
I'm great, JK. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. You have a little heat wave up there in New York City, I hear.
Well, we had one, and then we had a cool day on Sunday. It was hot and muggy today, and I think it's going to be hot and muggy sort of the rest of the week. Not quite as hot as the Southwest, which I know has been, like 110 degrees, 114 degrees or something in Vegas, or so it's not quite like that, thankfully.
Well, uh, San Diego here on the water, it's a little different, but
Yeah,
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 it's
that's
a
true.
little it's very pleasant, so no
It's
problems
beautiful
there.
where you
And so,
are.
a lot of things to talk about since the last time we were here.
hmm
And the last time we were here, we were talking about the first time that women will appear at the garden. Well,
Yeah.
it seems like that's going to happen again.
Yes. Well, the way it looks is men. Well, first of all, there was a fight at Hulu Theater on Saturday night. Every year, the day before or right around the Puerto Rican Day Parade, there's always a big fight card, and there was one on Saturday night. And Christina Cruz, who is a multiple national champion, Pan American champion, 10-time Golden Gloves winner, so kind of Madison Square Garden is her house. She actually fought on a top ranked card from the Garden, actually from the smaller theater on Saturday night. So that was kind of nice that she was on that card. But yeah, Amanda Serrano is going to be fighting on August 6th, not against Katie Taylor, but in a fight with a person who is yet to be named. And she will be on, her boy Jake's card, which will be pay per view on Showtime. So we'll see how that all develops. What that means is that any kind of um, Taylor Serrano 2 is going to be some indeterminate time in the future. I think after the Garden fight on April 30th, the thought was that they might meet again in September or October, sometime in the early fall, either at Madison Square Garden for a Taylor Serrano 2, or even potentially in Ireland, where Katie Taylor has never been actually able to fight professionally. So there was a lot of momentum for that, but it got really short circuited. And as I said, at this point, Amanda Serrano will be fighting in the Garden, but on a pay per view card with an opponent yet to be named.
Also, Jake will be the co-main event. Has his opponent been named yet?
Not that I've seen. I guess there's been talk about, the one of the Furies, but I really haven't seen that. Just the announcement that the card is happening, and then it's pay per view on Showtime on August 6th. Haven't even seen the tickets are up yet, or no other particulars. I haven't seen anything on BoxRec yet announcing
Now,
who else would be on the card.
now, I know we all kind of, said that, or at least took it as being a positive when Jake Paul, announced that he was taking Amanda Serrano under his wing and going to be promoting her. But
Yeah.
now I'm kind of wondering, is this going to turn into an amusement rather than a legitimate card?
I this is a good.
not just the card, but I mean, the future. Are we going to be having, like gimmick Serrano fights every time he
Well,
decides?
this is. I got to tell you, it's a good question, and it's a fair question because listen, the Taylor Serrano fight was legitimately a fight of the year contender, male or female. These are two fighters that went all out in the ring and left everything in there. I mean, this is that kind of a fight. It elevated the sport. Um, Serrano, not necessarily. Serrano has talked about wanting to be undisputed at super featherweight, 126. And I think that's what she's going to go after. And I guess her camp figured, hey, if I go against Taylor, I risk losing. If I go for undisputed, I'm in control. Who's going to beat her at 126? Nobody. There's really nobody in there that I know of that could necessarily defeat her at 126. Um, there's, in the top five, there's really not anyone that can necessarily defeat her. I'm sorry, at featherweight. So at 126. So that we'll see how that goes. I mean, shortly after the Taylor Serrano fight, Serrano's team sent a letter to the WBA making a big plea for her to retain her featherweight belt. It was a 4 or 5 page letter. You can find it online. They, in turn, came back and, through a lot of torturous legal language, said, yes, 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 you can retain your belt. So that is what she's going to want to do. And I'm guessing that that's part of what this pay-per-view is going to be. And to your very legitimate question is this then just more of a silly entertainment aside from potentially whoever Amanda fights, and everything else is not legit in the same way that previous Jake Paul cards have been kind of ridiculous? That's a really good question. Meanwhile, outside of Jake Paul world, Top Rank and Bob Arum saw the numbers for the Taylor Serrano fight, which sold out the Garden, and according to DAZN, had 101.5 million eyes on the fight at some point or on the card, and said, wow, they really did make some money, and they really did make a splash, and they really did say something in boxing. So he went ahead and helped set up the fight between Michaela Mayer at 130 pounds, meeting Alicia Baumgartner at 130 pounds. And that super fight's going to take place sometime in September. And that was as a direct result of the great performance of Taylor Serrano in Madison Square Garden. And not something, prior to that fight, he was saying, oh, who would ever want to see women fight? There's no way they're going to make it, blah, 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 blah. Well, they kicked his butt in the Shakur Stevenson fight on that night. They did better numbers. They had more eyes on their fight, and they had more buzz on their fight. So he got the message. As well, Claressa Shields and Savannah Marshall are going to meet at middleweight sometime in that same time frame of the early fall, September at some point. Now, Claressa Shields, as you may recall, made a deal with Boxer, which is the British promotional firm, for a 2-fight deal, specifically so that she could meet Savannah Marshall in the ring. And the plan was the first fight was sort of the tune-up, and then both would win, and then they would have a super fight for the undisputed. That now is going to happen. There's no date set yet, but in principle, they've agreed that that's going to happen in sometime in September. Again, now that had been in the books or had been planned prior to Taylor Serrano, but the prestige of the fight and the number of eyes on the fight and the excellence of the fight has certainly propelled the Marshall and meeting Clarissa Shields as another kind of super fight. Additionally, last this weekend there were some excellent female bouts that played through. Golden Boy has a relationship with DAZN to broadcast their fight cards in the United States. They had two exceptional women's bouts on their cards this weekend, so that was something. Showtime, for the first time this year, on their showbox, the new generation had a female bout. A woman named O'Shea Jones, who won bronze in the delayed 2020 Olympics this past year, or summer of 2021. She had her debut fight on a fight card that played on Showtime. And as all of Showtime's PBC cards on Showtime Boxing, 9 cards, 5 months, no women. But the fight where they could control it a little more, and Lou DiBella, who also was being inducted that weekend, he had 2 female fights actually that were supposed to play. Jessica Kamara was supposed to be on there at welterweight, but that fight fell through. So there were initially supposed to be 2 fights. So to me, that's legit, and that's really showing some momentum in the United States, which we've seen literally nothing. In UK, on DAZN, they had women's fights all weekend. There were women's fights all over England this weekend. And the momentum is continuing. Plus what always goes on in Argentina and Mexico and Japan and other parts of Europe. So I would say that, the Jake Paul show continues to be a comedy, but there is real legit interest in women's boxing and a continuing momentum for playing it out in a much more serious way.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it is actually like you said, a legitimate platform starting to get recognition.
Mhm.
And I just think that by her having that status that she does within the women's boxing, that it's important that she stay legitimate.
I agree with you. Certainly, well, look, she'll fight someone to win another featherweight. I think what they're trying to do is have her do a unification fight um, at 126. That's my guess. Nothing's been announced. They really haven't talked about it except to say fighting on August 6th, pay per view, Showtime, Madison Square Garden. We don't know yet who her opponent is going to be, but I would guess my understanding always has been that she wants undisputed. And since she didn't win against Taylor, and they're calculating that she can't necessarily win in the next fight, let her get her undisputed at 126, which would be difficult for her, would be a surprise if she didn't win all the belts at that weight. Then maybe consider Taylor again or just walk away. She doesn't need it, frankly.
I know there was an event that you usually go to, but this year you missed it. At least at last time we talked to you, you were going to miss it. I don't know whether you finally ended up going or not, but the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I unfortunately did miss it. Just some personal issues in my own in my family, health issues, and I was unable to get caregiver relief that I needed to be able to go away. But yeah, this was what the International Hall of Fame called the Once in a Lifetime Trilogy, June 9th through 12th, where they had the Hall of Fame induction weekend celebrating the 2020, 2021, and 2022 inductions. Extraordinary weekend. Luckily, I had some good friends that shared their videos and shared their pictures with me. It'll never be the same as being there, but it really does seem as if it was extraordinary. from the women's boxing perspective, it saw the induction of two women each year for as there are two new classes. There's the women's modern and women's trailblazer. And beginning in the class of 2020, that meant that Christy Martin and Lucia Riker were inducted as in the modern class, and Barbara Buttrick, the British fighter who started fighting in 1945, was inducted, and they, as the trailblazer. Parenthetically, she came to the event. She's 92 years old. She had literally just gotten out of her sick bed as a COVID patient not 2-3 weeks ago, but she made it there and was extraordinary. Then for the class of 2021, Layla Ali and Han Wolf were represented. They both came. And Marion Lady Tiger Tremiere was there. Extraordinary. I'll tell you a little bit about her in a minute. And then for the class of 2022 for women, Regina Halmak, who's a German fighter, who's legit the first real $1 million baby, because she was earning $1 million in the aughts for fighting in Germany. And Holly Holm, who you also probably know from MMA, because she's had an extraordinary crossover career, having retired from boxing and gone into MMA.
Yeah, I think her mother isn't her mother a commissioner out here in California?
Yeah, I think so. She may be. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's a boxing commissioner out here.
Yeah. So Holly Holm, came from a real, she started out in sort of martial arts and in New Mexico and kickboxing and that whole world, Muay Thai, and then became a boxer, and then from boxing transitioned into MMA and has had some good success on that side of the sport. So at the induction ceremony on the final one on Sunday, unfortunately, Lucia Riker was unable to come, so they played a video from her, very heartwarming. Christy Martin came out and spoke, and I don't think there was a dry eye when these women came to speak, because she talked about saying, I finally feel like I'm a sister. I get it. I'm really a sister. I am a boxing sister, and I'm up here, and I'm your sister, and we're all the same. And that one really felt it. The other part of that is when she got there, she said, hey, everybody, I want you to look at your watch, and I want you to count out 2 minutes. She said, it's not going to be what you think. And I believe that everybody thought 2 minutes like a 2-minute round, like women have 2-minute rounds. No. She spoke for 2 minutes. She talked about her the honor it was for her to be recognized, to be a sister among this extraordinary group of people, which in her class for 2020 is Bernard Hopkins and Juan Manuel Marquez and Shane Mosley as boxers. So she's there with them, her brothers. And then she looked at her watch when she finished. She said, well, it's 2 minutes. I want you to know that in that 2 minutes, 40 people have been subjected to domestic abuse. Every 2 minutes, another 40 people are subject to domestic abuse. And that's what her whole post-boxing world has looked like, aside from her continued work within boxing. So that was really overwhelming. And then Barbara Buttrick spoke, and here she is, 92, very frail, literally out of her hospital bed, and said, I had to be here, because I needed to feel the respect. I need that. I need to finally feel like I am part of this bigger world of boxing. So it was very, 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 very heartwarming and heart-wrenching. Layla Ali spoke about the fact that there she is in her father's footsteps as an inductee. So she's the first, there have been fathers and sons. Now there's a father and a daughter. And who knows, one day there may be a a mother and a daughter, but she's the first daughter to follow her father. And Ann Wolf, she shocked me. I mean, I'm sitting there with tears streaming down my eyes watching Ann Wolf, who's a, Amazon fierce lady, right? We know her as a boxer, we know her as an actor, we know her as a fierce person in the ring. As a trainer, take no prisoners kind of trainer. But she also spoke about the fact that she finally felt accepted, that she was now really a boxer. She finally got that she was a boxer. And her class was Vladimir Klitschko, Floyd Mayweather, Andre Ward, Layla Ali, and Wolf, right? So so amazing. And then Lady Tiger was there. Lady Tiger's in a wheelchair. She's got, some serious health issues. She herself was hospitalized last year and really kind of some scary moments. She was up there. She read a poem. She brought the house down with her poem. Everybody was just dying laughing, and but sort of laughing and crying at the same time. And sitting next to her was Roy Jones Jr. from the class of 2022. And she put him to work. She kept giving him things to hold, like her microphone, her papers. She's like, boy, you better help me. He's like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Miss Marion. It was beautiful. And then, so she speaks. She had this long list of people she thanked. And at the end of it, someone came out and gave her a belt, a green belt from the WBC to say, we know you were a true champion. You never got a belt here. Well, that broke her. She just started crying. Everybody just started crying. Anybody watching in that theater just cried with her because it was just a beautiful moment. And then, of course, class of 2022, which on the men's side, Mikhail Cotto, Roy Jones Jr., James Toney, Regina Halmak, Holly Holm. So it really was something very special. And for these women who have really, put their blood, literally their blood, sweat, and tears into this sport, it was an acknowledgement they never thought they would ever get across their lifetimes. When they contested in the sport, it just didn't exist for many of them. I mean, I would say that Holly Holmes and Regina Halmak had slightly different experiences in the sport. But Layla and Anne and Christy and Lucia, certainly Barbara and Marion, Lady Tiger, did not have that experience, did not have that acceptance at all. Had to really just fight to be in the ring. So it was a very special moment. And more than that, though, for women fighting today, like an Amanda Serrano or Katie Taylor, or young girls who are, just as they take the fact that you can contest in the Olympics for granted because it's open to them if they choose to pursue that, now being in the Hall of Fame is something that they can pursue. They can look to have their records acknowledged for that, on that basis, which is something, their older sisters in the sport could never have assumed. So I felt very proud of these folks and so proud of what they were able to achieve and what they were able to demonstrate as they spoke. Their true thanks for the acknowledgement and their real sense of pride at finally being accepted for who they were and for what they have accomplished in their lives.
Yeah, I did put a couple of those speeches up online, uh, and there was another one that a lot of very poignant moments. I also
Mhm.
thought that when James Tony brought his son up on stage
Yeah,
was a very good example of, what this class was really all about.
yeah. Or Bernard Hopkins in his talk. about where he came from, being in
Right.
prison, all of that. And then you had Vladimir Klitschko's talking, who couldn't come, obviously, and then he
Right.
from a
Yeah.
war zone, although that was pretty rough too because he called out Roy Jones Jr., you know. So a lot of complication in this one.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, of course, Floyd with his
Oh, Floyd, yeah.
the best ever. I mean, here's a house full. Yeah, but it was Floyd. Maybe I thought it was a little arrogant in that audience, but that's just me. I thought I mean, but true to character. So there's not a lot
Well,
that you can
yeah,
really say about that.
yeah, I know, and it was interesting because Christy acknowledged Floyd, but also just the Mayweather family in her brief talk. She called it out to say, "Yeah, you made me feel like I belonged here in a way that other people didn't." That was the message there. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah. So, what's kind of on the agenda next? I know it's a little late up there, so I'm not going to hold you too much longer. Yeah, I'm assuming things are, well, how are things? I mean, out here in California, people are starting to remask up. So, I mean, there's, wh- how's the reaction in New York?
Well, there's a lot of sick people. There's still people. I know a lot of people who are sick with COVID. My daughter just got over COVID. I mean, everybody I know who hadn't had it before is getting it now. And yet people are not walking around in masks. I was on a subway. It was stunning to me the number of people without masks. And I just shake my head. Still no joke. It's still serious. It's still all over the place. Everybody's
Yeah,
sick.
yeah,
Everybody's sick. But people are in the gym. People are everywhere. They're eating inside. And then what you hear is like people I know that are getting sick now are people that have always worn masks, have always been careful, and then they this one guy I know who just got sick over the weekend. He was like, "Well, I went to dinner." He hadn't been to dinner, and he went to dinner with a friend, and by 2 days later, sick as a dog with COVID. You know, my daughter, careful. She's 22, but a careful kid, right? Because she doesn't want to get us sick, so she's careful. She was working in a club because she does audio engineering in clubs, and you know, even though she had her mask on, it's crowded, a lot of people, a lot of drinking all around her. 2 days later, boom, sick, and so that's how people are catching it, and it's no joke. And and these are all people who've been vaccinated and everything, so they don't necessarily have the risk of being hospitalized and dying. Which,
right.
hello, people are still being hospitalized and people are still dying, but they're just getting sick.
Yeah, yeah. That's
And everybody's vaccinated, so they're just not getting, like, I got it. I had been vaccinated. I had three jabs at that point. Now I've had a fourth jab. I fully expect I may get it again, and I'm careful. I wear my mask. I do all the things I'm supposed to do, but
well, yeah.
it's there.
Like you
But at
said,
least I won't die. I
yeah,
won't die.
yeah, yeah. That's I've had all mine also, but like I said, once again, personal decision. People do it,
Yeah.
but uh, we actually came on to talk about some things that are much more joyous, though. We're talking about the
Yes, we did.
inductees, yeah, talking about
Yes,
the
we did.
inductees into the
Hall of
Hall of
Fame.
Fame.
Yeah.
Do you have any projects on in the
I
works?
do actually. It's kind of exciting. I am I am negotiating right now. Negotiating. I'm iterating. That's probably a better way to put. I'm iterating the sort of a proposal for a new book on women's boxing which I hope will get started sometime at the end of the summer, with a look to publish in a year from now. So that was kind of exciting. My publisher, Roland and Littlefield, they're very committed to women's sports in particular. And we had been talking about updating my current book, and then they just said, you know what? There's so much that's happened in the 8 years since you published. We'd rather see a whole new book to kind of cover the gamut of issues. So as I said, I'm in the process of kind of developing what that would look like, and sort of a chapter breakdown and some of the topics that we would cover. Things like, is it 2 minute rounds or 3 minute rounds? And the rise in boxing stars from the Olympics and amateur sports, and those tensions, and the transition to finally having recognition by on television again, which women were routinely on television in the late 90s through the early aughts, and then disappeared for 10 years, only started coming back on television in around 2016, 2017. So there's a lot of great topics to discuss, plus just some biographical sketches of some of the bigger boxing stars that have developed over the last 8 years or so. So I'm real excited about that. And then other than that, just continuing to tweet storm and maintain my website, do shows like yours.
Well, I, I am going to ask you one more thing. I know there were a lot of exciting fights and all of that,
Mhm.
but when it first happened, I said that I wasn't going to really acknowledge it, but then they kept playing it over and over and over. So you
Mhm.
know where I'm going with this, Mr. Berlanga. Uh, shades of Mike Tyson. I mean,
Oh, not even. Give me a break. You know.
I mean, now, strangely enough, this will probably bring in more casual fans.
Oh, sure. I
You
love
know,
that crap. It's back to the carnival, right? I mean, I don't know. I have a cat with a torn ear from which I think I told you the story. We thought about calling
yeah,
him Holyfield because he was picked
right.
up in the streets of Georgia, and said, no, it's too mean. So we call him Sugar Ray instead. But I mean, give me a break. What is that? It's just stupid. I'm sorry. Get off the ring, boy. What are you doing on there? It's
I,
like it's hard enough. This sport is so marginalized. This sport is so beat up. With all this shite from the Kinahan group and all this nonsense, and then you're gonna pull this. It's look. We got terrible judging, horrible refereeing. I mean, all of it's like you have a great fight, and then what happens? The scores are over here, or you like, oh, we're gonna make this super fight, and then the guy tries to bite somebody's ear. Give me a break. Smack him, get him off the stage.
and, and then you reward him with the unanimous decision. But
I, I,
that's another
yeah,
that's another
yeah, that's
conversation.
another. It's like, why isn't he kicked out of the fight? Why are you acknowledging this behavior? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is
Yeah,
this is boxing.
disqualification at the least. I mean, yeah. But anyway,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
there's a reason that you have the DQ rules, but I don't
Uh,
know.
well, thank you as usual for your time, Melissa, and we
Thank
appreciate
you. It's
it.
it's always a pleasure to see you, and I'm really happy that you're all as well, and that you're continuing to do this great show every week.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Melissa. I appreciate that, and
Take
I
care.
look
Bye
forward
bye.
to talking to you again. Yep.
Okay. Bye bye.
Right. I am awaiting Mr. Chop Chop Corley. I'm gonna send him a quick message, but what are your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen, on the bite? K9, where's K9? I'm just trying to. Okay, I sent a quick message to Mr. Corley, but yeah, there were a couple of Hall of Fame speeches that I actually put up on our Facebook page, the Weekend Wrap, uh, as well as K9, the K9 page. You can check them out. Like I said, one I had, uh, I thought the speech to his young son was actually uh, very important. Telling the young man that, regardless of the fact that I'm your father and I'm a Hall of Famer, you still have responsibility and you still have a duty to put forth an effort to always strive in life. And I'm sure that young man will remember uh, that moment in his life. Um, as she said, Ann Wolf. Uh, you generally think of Ann Wolf as this uh, kind of standoffish uh, person, but she really expressed her human side, and as she said, as Melissa said, you have to admire these women and men for the things that they have been through in their career. What's up, man? What's happening?
Hey, hey, what up, JP? You all right, man?
Oh man, I don't know.
Hey,
You in Detroit or you in Texas? That look like Texas A&M gear there, man. What's going on?
oh man, I had to match the backdrop.
Okay,
Coordinate
all right. I'm waiting for SB to put that Jamaican flag back in back of you there to see how
Jamaican
to see
flag.
the Jamaican flag with the with, oh man,
Oh man, yeah,
but it's been a little while since we talked, of
yeah.
course, and there's been a few things that happened since then. But
Mm-hmm.
uh, I'm going to start it out on kind of a ridiculous note, uh,
Mm.
which me and Melissa just talked about
Okay, okay.
the bite.
The bite. Uh-oh. Mike Tyson or Berlanga?
Berlanga. I
Berlanga.
mean, I'm s- I'm sitting here, K9. I'm watching the
Yeah,
fight, and I'm like, wait a minute, did he
yeah.
just bite? I said, no, wait a minute, So I'm taking my glasses. I'm like, hey, maybe I'm just hallucinating.
Right.
No, I'd had a blunt or two before the fight. I'm like, maybe.
How many?
And then, and then, and then the announcer said, he bit him. And I mean, come on. I mean, and then as I was said to,
Mm.
you reward him with a unanimous decision.
Yeah.
I mean,
Had a DQ.
I mean, you know, you don't. Not only do you not DQ him,
Right.
but you even give him the round.
Wow.
Did you give him 11 points for the bite?
Mm. Who was the judge? Who was the judge? Yeah. See, when Mike Tyson did it, it was a whole different ball game. But he actually bit his ear off.
but but
Another
the
one bites the
point
dust. Do do. Another one bites the dust.
the point being though, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, the kid he's already ahead on points.
Mm-hmm.
He's I know the fight wasn't the way it was actually scored. Like I said, there are a few rounds I could have given his opponent, but what does that say? Hey, protect yourself at all times. I understand that,
Yeah.
but what do you think, K9? I mean,
Right.
I
How many?
mean, now, is he a dirty fighter? I mean,
Duh.
yeah,
Question mark emoji.
bring,
Yes.
bring
Yes.
salt and pepper when you fight me.
Man, listen. Andrew Galata. Yeah. Man. Hey, I don't know, man. Hey, listen. It should have been a lot more said about him biting his opponent. I mean, I think more or less they swept it under the rug. I mean, people that actually, benefited from it was people that had a lot of subscribers or followers, and they made big news about it. But I mean, the average person don't even really know about it unless you're a boxing fan. You won't even know about it. But when Mike Tyson did it, I'm not trying to play the race card, but a black man did it. It was public. Was he fined with $1 million? Disqualified? But then he made it into a cartoon. Because now he's selling those ear bite. What's that? The things you be eating. What's them called?
What? Which ones?
You can chew it and
Oh,
get
the
high. It's called
gummies. The gummies. The
edible.
gummies. Yeah, the gummies. Yeah. Okay.
There you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mike
Okay.
Tyson got an ear edible.
Okay.
A Holyfield ear.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Oh man. So you can't make no joke out of what Belango did, because we talking about years and years later. Now he even admitted that he was gonna do to Mike Tyson because the guy kept elbowing him. But that's why a referee is there. Let the referee do his job. You don't do the referee's job.
Well, the referee wasn't gonna bite him. I mean,
Yeah. But I mean, the referee could have, gave him a warning.
Yeah, but the referee had been giving both of them warnings all through the fight. For different things.
Yeah.
Keep him up, do this, do that. I mean, so guy throws elbows. I mean, like they say, but I understand. Like I said, protect yourself at all times. But at some time, there are some things that cross the line. I mean, it's not like it was back in the day. I mean, back in the day, a guy hit you low, you retaliate. You hit him low. But supposedly we've gotten past that. But
as Ref said, it should have been an automatic DQ.
Yeah, I mean,
MJ, appreciate everybody tapping in. Yeah. It was. Hey, I would never did it because first of all, you don't know if the man got HIV or what. They letting people fight with HIV. Remember, rest in peace to him. But remember, the Duke.
Yeah.
Man, they let him fight with HIV. I'm not biting no man. I'm not biting a person. I don't want a person to bite me. The mouth is one of the nastiest things on a person's body.
Hey, I'm telling you, like but and not only that, but
Yeah,
you got a mouthpiece in. How you gonna bite?
exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's not. I mean, Mike spit his out. I think
yeah,
before he bit Holyfield. You
yeah,
know, but
exactly.
you know,
Well,
um,
it's up to the referee to make sure the mouthpiece is in the mouth. You can't bite nobody.
well, the mouthpiece was in was in his mouth. So I mean, it wasn't that. I mean, because he definitely the mouthpiece was. If it wasn't for the mouthpiece, yeah, I mean, he who knows, he might have took a chunk out of the guy's neck. So but because that it wasn't bad enough that he tried the first time, but he went back in for a second bite, like he
Oh,
was
he
going
did. I
in,
didn't see that.
like yeah,
I didn't
check
see
it out.
that.
He went back in for seconds. It's like okay,
Wow,
but
wow.
it's like
And this supposed to be the next up and coming superstar, right?
yeah, yeah,
Oh
yes,
man, the
sir.
one that's supposed to be knocking everybody out. So why he couldn't knock this guy out?
Well, hey, like hey. He said it was the elbows. I think it was the frustration that he couldn't knock this guy out,
Yeah,
and this
I can
guy.
see that.
I think if you really look at the fight, I think this guy won at least 3 rounds. But
Right,
that was just me. Uh, now we
man, that's crazy.
now we also saw Jaime Munguia
Yeah,
get a victory this
yeah,
weekend, and
yeah,
immediately called out Charlo.
yeah. Everybody want that Charlo smoke because they feel like Charlo isn't fighting anybody. And even though he beat me, he beat a 42-year-old, 42-year-old injured me, and he was in his 20s. So who has he beat? Basically, if you look at the record, it's like you got a good point. So they all trying to get that fight, and I would love to see that. I actually would love to see Jamie Mongois against Charlo,
Me,
more than I would like to see Canelo versus Charlo.
Munguia.
Charlo said he won't fight him unless he. I mean, Canelo said he won't fight him unless he fight David Benavidez, and he'll fight the winner.
Well, Canelo is fighting uh, Triple G, what, September 17th, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
You
But I'm
know.
just saying, it ain't like it's gonna be the end of his career. I believe, I
No,
mean,
no,
yeah,
no, 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 no. He, not only, is uh, sadly to say
mm.
that this fight is probably going to get him even more uh, publicity than he probably would have had before, even though
Oh,
he
which
was
one?
Munguia, Belanga. but but talking about Munguia and Chalo, uh, like you said, I think everybody is uh, out for the Chalo. But the reason why I'm saying that is because he's actually the only money out there. Errol Spence is fighting Crawford.
Hopefully,
Canelo, uh, well,
hopefully.
hopefully, okay.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
And
and,
then and
and
then Floyd say he got to be the one to say when they fighting. Now, if that ain't some diva stuff, then what is it? Hey, we got somebody in the building. Do you know this? Hold on, I'm trying to figure out if you
is
know
that
this guy
Chop
right
Chop?
here.
Is that
Yeah,
Chop
yeah.
Chop?
Oh, let me get SB to put him on because I got him all in the middle of the screen. SB,
I th-
I gotta have her put him on because I do it. He ain't gonna look. He ain't gonna be on him. Oh yeah, Casino for life. That's my man's in him.
yeah.
SB. I
Zoom
gotta see where
call.
the champion is at.
There you
There
go.
you go.
It's-
There you
Look, at-
go. What's up, Chop Chop?
What up, K9? What's up?
Oh man, I'm good. I'm good. Welcome to the show. There go James King. I couldn't get you on the show, but James King could.
Yeah, right.
uh, but
Yeah,
yeah, I thought you guys would like to kind of reunite, talk about some old times, and then I'll jump in. Uh,
yeah,
but
yeah. Oh, Chop. Chop Chop put me up on the game. Chop put me up on the shoe game. He said, "Listen, K9." He said, "Mike Jordan selling his shoes. You should sell your shoes. I'm selling mine." So I got in the shoe game. Now y'all can come
That's
fly
what's
with
up.
me. Yeah. How you doing with your shoe game? You still selling your merch and everything?
Yeah, I just did a pair of shoes for a young lady named Zoe. She an amateur boxer.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
That's good. That's
I
good.
got some coming out for my next exhibition with Devin next
Okay.
month. I got some shoes,
Yeah.
and then Devin, I got Devin a pair of shoes. Devin gonna be wearing his shoes also.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Oh yeah, that's nice. Yeah, you put me up on it, boy. I went from there. I said, okay, this is what we got to do. I took off from there. Yeah, we should have had Devin on the show tonight. That'd have been sweet. I started, man. Listen, I started. Let me see if I can call him and see if he's available. Because he said he gonna whoop that trick. He said, I said, what? I can't believe it. Devin don't talk like that. What you doing, Chop? You done got froze. Oh, he ain't got froze out. Yeah, he froze out. I said something. When I said with that, I said, my man. Oh, there you go. You good? I know you got froze out, champ.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Hey, anything you want to ask him, James? While I try to see if I can connect with Dev.
Well, Chop, your career goes way back, and I want to just there were a couple of things that maybe the audience didn't know. At one time, were you managed by Sugar Ray?
Yeah, my first 4 years of my career, when I turned pro in '96, Ray was my manager.
And how did you establish that relationship?
Straight from the amateurs, me having a great amateur background, winning the National Golden Gloves.
Hey, Chop.
And
Hey,
yeah,
Chop. Before you finish that, James, his opponent has something to say. Hey, Dev, say something to him, Dev. That's Chop.
What's up, Chop? You ready?
what'd you say?
You getting ready? Dev.
I stay ready.
You say, stay ready, champ.
That way I ain't got to get ready. That way I make it easy work for me.
Hey,
That way I ain't got.
He said he gonna make it easy work. Hold on. Stop it. He said he gonna make it easy work. Hold on.
You can put it down.
Yeah. You say the easiest. God damn.
This one.
Hey,
go out there and have some fun with my good friend.
Have some fun.
Go enjoy myself. I'm enjoying myself, man.
Ooh. Uh-oh. The build up. I'm trying to hype it up. Hey, Dev, you busy right now? If not, I can send you a link and
a reunion.
I'm on my way to go get my niece. I can jump on in about
20 minutes? Okay, let's see. Okay, wait. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, I'm gonna hit you up in about 20 minutes then, champ. Okay. Yeah. Oh man, he said, you better be ready, Chop.
You know, Chop a little guy. I stay ready. I'm a little guy. Chop, stay ready.
Stay ready. Oh man. Go ahead and finish asking him, because I definitely want to ask him about Floyd Mayweather. You know, I know he gave Floyd one of his hardest fights out of all the guys he fought. We got Shane Mosley, we got Chop, and who else we got that gave Floyd a hard fight other than you, Chop? Other than Shane Mosley.
Madonna put it on him for a little bit.
Exactly. How many world titles have you won, Chop?
I got 7.
You got 7 world titles?
Yeah, 7 titles. All of them ain't world, but I won 7 titles. Yeah, all of them ain't world, but I won 7 titles.
Okay. Well, how many is world?
3.
Oh, do you think that should qualify for you to be in the Hall of Fame?
Oh, I'm going there. They waiting for me to retire. Ed Brophy already told me. He asked me when I'm going to retire.
Oh, okay, that's good stuff.
Yeah,
Okay, who was that? Who was that
it's
again?
just the 5 year waiting that you got to go through.
I got you.
after you retire, right?
Yeah, you got to set out 5 years, no action.
I got you. So you still doing it? And how old are you right now?
48 now.
48. Oh boy,
I got a fight. I got a fight scheduled in August already.
a pro fight or exhibition?
Nah, pro fight. I'm about to mess up another young kid career trying to become a champion.
What's his record?
A young prospect. He's about 15-1, 19-1.
Mm.
He out in the DMV area. But
Okay.
you know, they trying to hype it up because I'm the vet.
Yeah.
And they say we put you up against an old guy, you should be able to get him. Man,
Yeah.
I'm not about to let these young kids do nothing with me, man.
All right. Please don't. You gotta make us look good, champ.
Exactly. You already know.
Exactly. That's right. He said 7. My man Ben Hand said 7. That's amazing. Oh yeah. Kobe said Jab. He said, don't forget about Zab. Zab gave him some problems too.
Oh yeah, Zab put it on him too.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Now, James, what was you asking? Chop before Devin?
I was asking about the years that he was managed by Sugar Ray.
Okay. Oh, Sugar Ray Leonard managed you?
Now my first 4 years of my career was signed with Ray.
Ray Leonard?
Yeah, I got a chance to spar with Ray for the Hector Camacho fight.
Wow.
So that was my mentor in '98 in training camp with him. And then after that was over, I got a chance to go to camp with Pernell Whitaker.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were sparring for the rematch with Alfredo Rivera.
Mm. Wow.
Now, Chop, having fought Floyd and Whitaker, who's the best defensive fighter that you think of?
What you say?
Who do you think is the best defensive fighter between Mayweather and Pernell?
I go me sparring both of them and fighting Floyd. God dang.
Oh, it's
hard to say because in Pernell time, he was hard to hit, but he gambled. Floyd ain't gonna gamble.
That make him
Pernell
hard.
had big balls.
I guess.
Pernell had big balls. He gambled. He'd take a chance because he trying to set up a shot. He set traps and everything.
Mm. What about Vander Holyfield? I mean, not Vander Holyfield. James Toney.
He was a great defense fighter also, and very slick.
Yeah. He said they asked him.
He did it ahead. He looked good at the way he was doing it. It just made him look so much better because you don't see big guys move and fight like that.
Right. Yeah, they asked him who was the best pound for pound fighter in the world was, and he said Terrence Crawford. You agree?
You may can say that for this era right now, but I mean, at one point, Floyd was. At one point, Pernell was. It's different eras.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Shoot, they was talking about Golden Boy was pound for pound at one time.
Yeah.
He was beating everybody.
That's true. Mike Tyson. But that shoulder roll, tell me, who did that shoulder roll better, Floyd or James Toney?
Both. I say 50-50. I ain't going to say one did one better than the other one. Because both of them can do it and come back and hit you.
Yeah.
Or do it and not get hit.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. I don't know, man. That's a but listen, James Toney will do it and come back with the right hand. Ooh.
Floyd do it also.
Yeah, that's true. That's true too. But James will do it against some real competition. I'm talking about he moved up to heavyweight and was still doing that. When Floyd moved up in weight, he was Money Mayweather. He wasn't taking no more chances, like you said. He wasn't taking no chances. Yeah, he wasn't taking no chances. James, what you doing, James? You got your mouth open. You trying to really dig in on something.
No, I'm looking at Chop Chop's record here, and some of the guys that he fought. I said Randall Bailey twice,
Yeah.
Cotto,
Miguel?
right? Yeah, he fought Cotto.
Mm.
So Chop Chop, has fought a kind of who's who. Uh, when you look at the opponents that he's had, but Chop Chop, what made you get into boxing?
At 10 years old, I was at the recreation center, and the coach asked me, did I want to box, and I said no. He said, well, this is what you get if you win or lose. You get a trophy or a medal. And that was my motivation right there to become a great boxer. I get a trophy or a medal when I win. And he said, you get to travel and stuff. And growing up in the projects,
Hello? Hello there. Okay. Like you was stuck, James.
It's not me. I'm here.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Chop Chop might be stuck
Yeah.
when he closed the door.
Like you stuck in traffic.
No, he might have broken his connection.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, I'm looking here at Chop Chop. Some of his opponents, Thomas Delorme.
Yeah.
Then
No.
you go up Cotto. Uh, I'm looking at this. I was trying to find this one particular stretch. Yeah, okay. He fought Devin Alexander. He fought uh, Randall Bailey.
Oh,
Then
you fought Devin before, so it's a rematch with them.
yeah, he fought Devin in 2008.
Okay, he won that.
Devin.
Oh, Devin
Unanim-
won.
yeah, unanimous
Oh,
decision.
payback. He wants some payback then. I got you. Who else he fought? Yeah, he fought some everybody.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, let's see. Like he said, he fought 4 years for Sugar Ray, and during that time he was, I believe, undefeated. And then after changing, he fought. Let's see. He fought Randall Bailey. He won. Then he
Yeah.
lost. Then he lost to Zab, and he lost to Floyd.
Yeah.
Uh, then he fought Daryl Tyson. He won. He lost to Cotto.
Yeah.
And then he got back on the winning track fighting Carter and Walker.
Mm.
But then, he had a little stretch there
Okay.
where, like I said, he lost to Devin. He lost to uh, uh, Ashley
yo,
Theo Payne. There you go. Is Chop Chop back?
Yeah. There you go. Chop. Yo. Chop chop. Chop. Yeah. I don't know if we're gonna be the I just had him. They ain't say nothing.
Yeah,
yeah,
I think I heard you. You back, Chop Chop?
yeah, I'm back. Yeah,
Okay, yeah, we had lost you there for a minute. Yeah, you were talking about when you first got into boxing, and you were talking about the trophies and traveling and all that.
yeah. It was a great opportunity for me to travel and go out of town.
So you
And
had to
how many
yeah.
amateur fights did you have, Chop Chop?
119. I lost 19 out of 119.
That's very good. That's
Yeah,
super good.
that's super good. That means you were 5-1. So yeah, that's excellent. So, uh, what year did you turn pro? And I'm looking here at your first pro fight,
May on
and
Sugar Ray Leonard's birthday,
oh, okay, okay.
May 17th.
See, hey, you know better than I do. But what, but
And a
what
good
was
memory.
what was it like getting in your first professional fight? Do you remember that experience?
Oh, I can never forget it. It was at my high school, where I graduated from, H.G. Wilson Senior High School. I graduated from there, and it was very exciting to be fighting at your high school in front of people you went to school with and friends and everyone. It was so exciting, man. I performed. I put on a great show. I won, and after that, I just continued to do good.
Yeah, TKO. I see your first win. Uh,
I knew boxing was for me my third pro fight.
And why you say
That,
that?
that because it was on the biggest card I ever fought on so soon in my career. My third pro fight. I
yeah,
fought at
you at
Madison Square.
Madison Square Garden. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and that was the Riddick Bowe and Galata undercard.
Mm.
Yeah, so when I came out the tunnel for that fight, the place was packed. The atmosphere for that fight was just electrifying, and I was just amazed by the lights and the crowd. It was so exciting, and I was like, "Yeah, this is what I want. The stage. This is the stage right here. This the big league right here."
Big league.
Okay, now what about your first 10 round fight?
Which one was that? When I won the USBA title
Yeah,
against Enir Julio. Oh man, no, that was a 12-round fight. We went 12 rounds in DC at the MCI Center
was that 12?
for the USBA title. It was 12 rounds.
Trying to see what year that was.
1999.
Yeah. Okay. And so that was your first your first championship fight. That was the USBA fight.
Yep.
Now, so uh, first 12 rounder, first championship. How'd you feel getting that first real belt?
It wasn't easy, I tell you that, because that Colombian 6'1" with a reach of like 72, 73 inches.
Wow.
We had on them Clears Reyes gloves made out of horse hay.
Yeah, I remember those.
Man, and and I can hear Ray Leonard at ringside in the eighth round just telling me, "Still the round, chop." When they would hit the canvas and say 10 seconds on the clock, I would just start flurrying, let my hands go to steal the rounds, and I won that fight on a split decision. It was close because that
Mm.
Colombian, man, he had my eye swollen. One of my eyes was cut, and I was feeling his knuckles coming through them Reyes gloves. He was hitting
Wow.
me on the forehead. I'm like,
Mm.
damn, I feel his knuckles.
Mm. Yeah, you done had a longevity as far as your career. Like you had 100 and you said 19 fights as an amateur
Yeah,
and still competing at 48 years old.
48 now. I just had a birthday last Friday.
Wow. Happy belated birthday, brother. And you how many pro fights you done had?
We getting close to 90,
90 pro fights?
almost. In
Wow.
August the 6th, it'll be 87. I got
Wow.
86 pro fights now.
So you trying to reach 100 or you gonna stop at 90?
Nah. I ain't trying to reach 100. I'm just gonna continue to. If God bless me with the 90 fights, I'm gonna continue to be blessed with 90 and just perform, man. I love the sport of boxing. I have a passion for it, If he say 89, that's gonna be the number. Then 89 will be the number. But I like to do 90.
Yeah. Wow.
Chop Chop, your first fight in Vegas.
That was my second world title fight. My first fight in Vegas.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was early in my career. I fought like down at the Golden Nugget somewhere.
Um, I'm looking at the one in Mandalay Bay,
Yeah,
Felix
yeah, that's
Flores.
my title. That was the title, WBO title fight. Yeah, I took that fight on a 5-day notice. I took that fight on a Tuesday. And we
Did
got
you
a
win
phone
it?
call from Don King and Dana Jamieson, and they asked me would I be interested in fighting, and I said yeah, and they said, well, okay, it's for the title. I said, when is it? They said the fight is Saturday. I said, so where's it at? They said it's gonna be in Las Vegas. It's on the Johnny Tapia undercard. It's scheduled for 12 rounds, and I knew who had the title at that time. It was Enir Julio, who I fought back in 1999. But she's
Chop. Chop. You keep getting chopped. Chop. Chop it. Chop it. Where Chop go? Chop a tough dude. Vinny.
Yeah,
Shout out to Vinny.
because
Everybody in the chat.
he fought Julio after he fought Flores. That's why I
You
was
talking about
trying to.
Willis? Julio Chavez? No.
No. He fought
Okay.
Julio in there Julio, the guy that he had fought earlier and won his first USBA light welterweight title from.
Okay.
But he had won the title, the WBO light weight title, so he had a rematch. That's why
Oh yeah.
that's why I was asking. And then after that, he fought Randall Bailey, and
Yeah. Oh man, listen, he blessed to still be able to talk all the guys he done fought. How many years he done fought? I mean, guys that done had almost 90 fights, less than almost 90 fights, with all them amateur fights that you can really talk and can talk clear. I mean, them a lot of punches to the head, and don't forget about getting ready for a fight. You gotta deal with a lot of punches and man. So he blessed, I gotta say, to have his health. And like he said,
that's what we keep telling you.
yeah,
You blessed two
yeah,
junior middleweight titles,
yes,
and you still go out there every day, and you still
yeah,
getting your uh,
push up,
uh, no, and you still going out there every day. Well, you're doing your push-ups, you're doing your sparring and whatnot. I mean,
podcast, can talk good,
so
can talk with the best of them. Look, I'm on here with JK. I'm on here with JK. Let's go, going blow for blow. What's happening, champ? What's good, man? Rest in peace, man. To your that was your nephew.
Yeah, that was my nephew. Once again, it was kind of a hard thing to take K9.
Yeah.
I've had another nephew that did, and a juvenile adult sentence where he
Yeah.
was locked up from the age of 16 to 21.
Yeah.
And fortunately, he came out, and he's been doing very well ever since.
Good.
But this particular nephew, the reason why it kind of struck me the way it did was because, as I've been saying, I think that we have done our youth a great disservice. And now he had just turned 18, like I think it was 3 days before this incident.
Okay.
So now he's looking at an adult sentence, which means that he's going to be locked up at least for the next 5 years because of the gun charge.
Okay.
And then because of the drug charge, possibly another 5 to 7 years. So
Wow.
here's a young man that's, just turned 18 that may not look see the streets again until he's almost 30.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
and the fact that I've been so open about my experiences,
Yeah.
it makes me think, like I've given you the blueprint on what not to do,
Hmm.
and you still chose to go in this direction.
Yeah.
So, what was it something that I missed? Was or have we become a nation where you know uh, uh, we use our young people, we prey upon our young people. I mean, here's uh, m- like many situations,
Yeah.
you have an 18-year-old that is the primary caregiver for the whole house.
Yeah.
If he don't sell,
Pressure.
if he don't sell a rock, nobody in
Yeah.
the house eats.
That's
So
pressure. Peer
so
pressure.
but then again, what is the responsibility of the adults in the home? You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. You know.
yeah, and you know, we have had, we've seen, and we've
Mm-hmm.
had. You can look at the numbers,
Mm-hmm.
on the amount of young men that we have lost
Mm-hmm.
to prisons, and
Yeah.
for
Murder.
us, we only form, I think, 12% of the population, but almost 28% of the prison population.
Wow. I
So
heard it was more than that.
it is probably more than that.
Okay.
Since I don't have the numbers in front of me,
Okay.
you know, uh,
Yeah.
uh, but it's, when like I said, you consider that we're only about 18% of the population. We probably make up close to 40% of the prison population. But you know, uh,
Mm-hmm.
you there are a lot of places. I think it was last week or the week before, on Showtime, and they were showing where, in Florida, there are boxing organizations that are actually going into the prisons to help these young men, to help establish, programs.
That's
But
good.
yeah, to a certain extent, because once again, you know, y- there are certain things that you aren't allowed to do in prison. So like, you wouldn't be able to spar, except under very controlled conditions. You wouldn't be able to, like, how do you train? Because, you know, now if the other inmates are watching,
Yeah.
what happens, if things like that. But I think that we do need to uh, form organizations to help these young kids.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, it,
Right. Especially ones with no
it,
father. Fathers.
well, even the ones with no mother. I mean,
Mhm.
there are fathers out there that are raising their children on their own too. But
Yeah.
the point is to focus that energy on something else other
Hmm.
than surviving the streets.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
If I can escape the streets, anybody can escape the streets.
Well, see, that's another, kind of an unfortunate thing about my career and my example, is because I chose that life. So, therefore, you get a lot of, well, you survive, so forth and so on, but, life is made for more than survival.
Mm.
you want to thrive. You want to be the best that you can be. I know it sounds, it might sound kind of corny, but to me, and having been having been
Yeah.
on both sides,
Right.
I'd rather be begging out here in the streets than serving 5 years in the penitentiary.
Yeah.
That 3 hots in the cot ain't nothing but BS.
Yeah.
you know, you know.
Right.
But
Like that basketball player, former NBA basketball player, actually out
uh,
here. He's in the NBA, but now he's on the streets begging for money. Somebody in the chat help me out. What's his name? Yeah, somebody gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. He played with LeBron James, and now he homeless. I saw him panhandling
in Detroit.
on YouTube.
Oh, okay, yeah. Um, but let's talk about some of these fights and talk about some things that are related to the game.
Yeah,
Like I said, now we have Ryan Garcia.
yeah,
He's getting ready to have a fight later on. I believe it's this month.
yeah.
Uh, and there was a
Against the
lot of
gatekeeper,
yeah, there was a lot of talk, between what
even
Ryan
Tank.
Garcia,
Uh,
Tank. I think
mhm.
Devin might have got caught up in it for a minute. What's your thoughts, man? After watching Tank now, you
That's the guy
called it.
named
You
Delonte West.
okay?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Um, you called
Tank's
that
son,
fight,
Apollo.
Tank.
Yeah,
And I was listening to you,
mhm.
and you said, I believe, that you had given Rolly all 6 rounds.
I can't remember that. I don't know, but I know he was winning
Uh,
a lot of
okay.
them rounds early on.
Okay. All right. Well, even okay. It went 6, so we'll say that you gave him 4 rounds.
I don't know. I can't remember. I don't want to say I
You,
did, but I know he
well,
fought a lot better than I thought.
you said you had him winning, so if it went 6, it had to be more than 3-3 because it was only 5 before that. So if
I
you
know I
did
had him winning, I think the
right,
first 2 and 3 rounds.
okay,
I
so
know
three,
right
so
before the
three,
knockout, I saw Javante Davis change to start winning a little bit. I think so. If it went 6, almost 6, I had Davis winning 2 of them. The
so
one he knocked him out in, and a round before that, if
okay,
I'm not
so
mistaken.
so you would have had him at the end of 5. You would have had Rolly 4-1. So,
Yeah.
but even if it wasn't, here's what I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
Do you
Let's go,
think
champ.
do,
Um,
do you think that Gravante changed his fighting style and was more patient, or
I
do you
think
think that Rolly was actually the better fighter before he got knocked out?
no. But I believe that Tank actually played this smart. Knowing that he had more experience. Listen, I said that fight. It kind of reminded me of Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather. Let me rewind that. Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather. And the reason why I said it was like that, in my opinion, is Conor McGregor was gonna come out strong. Strong. Just like Brody came out strong. That's right, he came out strong. But then once you come out strong and you can't seem to land that one hitter quitter, and then you start getting a little tired, and then the bully start punching back, it's gonna be over with. Now, I didn't know that he was gonna run into something until like 10 seconds before he ran into it. Because I was like, oh, somebody about to get killed. Somebody about to get hit. Oh, stop it. And I called it out. I said, I told you. It's because I saw it coming. But I figured that because Rolly only had 8 amateur fights. Let me rewind that. Only 8 amateur fights. I knew he was gonna be in trouble. I know long term, however long the fight lasted, he was gonna be in trouble. And that's what happened to him and Conor McGregor at K9 Boxing.
Oh yeah, Ryan Garcia is fighting Javier Fortuna.
Exactly. The gatekeeper now. He a gatekeeper.
I thought Fortuna was that tall kid.
Who?
Remember who was the tall kid with the real long arms?
Oh, you ain't talking about the guy that's out of Ohio, are you?
No, no. I thought his name was Fortuna. I might have my Fortunas mixed up. But
Oh,
he
it's
just
Fortuna good. Somebody
he,
ducked him Fortuna. I can't figure out who it was. One of them little hot prospects ducked him. I don't know if it was
no,
Devin Haney. One
he
of them
just
guys.
had a fight where he ended up they knocked each other down, but Fortuna ended up
No, you ain't
knocking the
talking
kid.
about Pandora. Somebody said
Okay,
Pandora.
okay, yeah.
Oh,
So
no. Stop it. That's a whole nother weight class.
okay, well, that,
Yeah, look. Pandora fight at 154.
okay.
Fortuna, he fights at what, 135?
Ryan Garcia, yeah, I guess that's what I guess he's fighting 130, 135.
Yeah, maybe in a street fight. Maybe in a street fight.
What do you think about this upcoming fight this weekend? Benefita of Scully's guy against
Oh,
Joe
he gonna,
Smith
man, he
Jr.
gonna smoke. He gonna smoke Joe Smith like them blunts you be hitting. Oh man. He gonna blow him out. Yeah, he gonna blow him out. Yeah, he gonna get smoked. No, man. No, Braxton. I saw him on the other day out there panhandling. So I think them days over with.
What's that?
Delonte West, the basketball player I told you that ended up
Oh
homeless.
yeah,
Went from the NBA
yeah.
to the streets. Literally. Yeah. Yep. No, yeah, better be if he can go out there and destroy Joe Smith, the fight for him will be Dmitry Bivol, the one that beat Canelo. And if he could beat him, then he should be on the pound for pound top 10 list.
Well, that's a fight that people have been kind of looking for. That Bivol, Benavida, but of course, fighting Canelo was going to bring more money than them fighting each other. So you definitely can see where that went. What did you think about Devin Haney's performance?
Devin, listen, I was telling somebody in the gym today, I said, out of Wheels to Win, Devin Haney is in number 2, pound for pound, Wheels to Win. We should get a rankings for Will to Win, because your Will to Win can actually help you win. And Tyson Fury is number 1 when it comes to the Will to Win. And number 2 is Devin Haney. You got to remember, Devin Haney grew up around great fighters. He was trained at the Crunk Gym with yours truly. And then he went to Mayweather's gym. Now, you can't do nothing but be hungry. You're hanging around Floyd Mayweather. You see him running and training as hard as he did. And I think Devin was like, oh, so this is how you get it. You got to train like you ain't got a nickel. As a matter of fact, he didn't have a nickel. So he was trying to get it. And to see somebody rich, train like he broke, Devin was like, stop it. And guess what? The Will to Win was incredible, unmatched. Number 1 pound for pound of all time, Will to Win, Floyd Mayweather. And I hate to say it, but Floyd Mayweather. Now, today, that's right, today, Tyson Fury. Now, if Tyson Fury is truly retired, it is Devin Haney. Devin Haney don't have all the experience in the world. I mean, Shakur Stevenson got more experience than him. Gervonta Davis got more experience than him. Maybe Garcia might be on the same level. He might have the same amount of experience. But the Will to Win, he has that over all of them.
Okay, all right.
And that was the key to the fight. He had the will to win. But at the same time, I interviewed his trainer yesterday, Mickey Bay. And Mickey Bay actually fought, guess who he fought his last fight? George Kambosos. So he had the blueprint. listen, if you stand in front of him, he can probably catch up with you. But if you move, he lose. So he gave him the blueprint. And he said he even felt like he won a fight when he fought against George Kambosos. Go look at the go look at Mickey Bay's record and go look and see they got him winning, beating George Kambosos by split decision. Let me rewind that. Split decision. So if he won by split decision, 9 times out of 10, he really won a fight. Trust me, what I'm telling you.
Now, I'm going to kind of test your memory here, K9.
Come on with it.
Your memory. What happened June 12th?
Okay.
Let me get the year right here now. Hold on. Okay. It was June 12th. The year was 1989.
1989.
1989.
Okay, that was football time. I was about to, you know what I was about to grade do? I was about to grade go on box rec to see who I fought.
No.
Okay, but you said 89, so it wasn't me.
Nope. But it's somebody that is very he's a legend in the city of Detroit as well as around the world.
Tommy Hearns.
Tommy Hearns on June 12th, 1989. It was the rematch with Sugar Ray Leonard.
Ooh, come on, somebody! A rematch. Ain't nothing like the first fight though. The first fight to this day, like your boy Deontay Wilder would say, to this day is the best fight I ever saw. Sugar Ray Leonard versus Tommy Hearns, the first fight.
But today
the anniversary is the second fight.
Well, 2 days ago was the anniversary of the second fight, which a lot of people say that Tommy Hearns won.
Even Ray Leonard.
So, I was going to ask you, but since you already got it out there, was Tommy robbed?
Come on, man.
Leonard was 33 at the time.
Yeah.
And Tommy was 30. He was the underdog.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, come on, man. Listen, Sugar Ray Leonard was the fans. I ain't gonna say the fan favorite. He was the people's choice. Tommy Hearns was the fan favorite. They like to see knockouts and knockouts sell. But don't get me wrong, Sugar Ray Leonard knocked people out too. But I think, Tommy Hearns being from Detroit with the nickname the Hitman, and a lot of hitmen came from Detroit. It kind of gave him the bad look, the bad guy look. And you root for the good guy, At least back then you did. Now you root for the bad guy. But back then you rooted for the good guy. And Sugar Ray Leonard always smiling. Cheese. So he was a good guy. So they wanted to give it to the good guy. Just think, he was the one, on the front cover of almost every magazine in the 80s. You might see Tommy Hearns in the book, but he wasn't on the front page. And Tommy was just as good as Sugar Ray Leonard. So, he got I think a bad rap. Like I say, that's why he changed his name from the Hitman to the Motor City Cobra, because they said that's not good for your image, because a lot of hitmen actually came from Detroit. Come on, we're talking about the mafia days. Rosa Parks from Detroit. Remember she, she went and sat in front of the bus. Remember that?
Yeah.
Showtime, son. Showtime, son. Right. Yeah, I used to stay on Rosa Parks. We call it 12th Street.
Okay.
Yeah, shout out to the homies in the hood. 12th Street, Rosa Parks.
Well,
that's right.
If it's named Rosa Parks or Martin Luther King Boulevard, you know where it has to be. So
absolutely. Martin Luther King Boulevard is in Detroit. Rosa Parks is in Detroit. Hold on. Crunk Jim is in Detroit. the oldest world champ. It's German way history is in Detroit. Come on, somebody. Motown. Where all the music, the best musicians are from where? Detroit. And, word up to my man, I was listening to him earlier today. Detroit basketball. Mason. He's from Detroit. But, we all from God, so that's the main thing. Because everybody ain't from Detroit, and you're going to be from wherever your mama got pregnant at. And hey, so hey, as long as you doing good wherever you at, you staying out the way, I applaud you for sure. Matter of fact, I'm a bark. I ain't gonna bite like Belinga. I'm gonna give you a bark. Let's go, champ. Let's go.
Let's talk about a couple of these fights real quick. July 23rd, Saudi Arabia. Usyk will be fighting Joshua. Joshua just signed a deal with the Zone.
Yeah, not Sky Sports, the Zone, and left Sky Sports, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. I've been reading, champ. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's it's dangerous to actually get a new trainer in your first time that you actually about to fight in a big fight. You switch trainers up. I feel like you should gel with your trainer before you get into a big fight. And his very next fight, and his opponent, Usyk, who he lost to, he got a new trainer. Even though the trainer he got is a good trainer, it's a new trainer. And that's the problem I think Triple G is having, and it's taking a little time to be able to gel with Jonathan Banks. Jonathan Banks is a good trainer. Triple G is a good fighter, but they both haven't found that balance yet. Now against Canelo, I think they got a good chance to finally catch on to what they trying to do. Now, Anthony Joshua, AJ, I don't know. That's gonna be dangerous. I think AJ could have beat Usyk without the new trainer. I think the new trainer is gonna be more of a distraction than anything. And Usyk, he ain't bad, and he ain't never lost. Don't know how to lose. Don't know what you're talking about. Talking about some losing? What? Stop it. So that's gonna be a dangerous fight for both guys, because let me tell you something. If Anthony Joshua loses his fight, it's over. It's over. It's over. Stop it. It's over. So, that's what I see in that fight. If AJ loses, it's over. I don't even think they can afford for AJ to lose. So if it's a close fight, they're gonna say, and the new heavyweight champion of the world. And guess what? Tyson Fury gonna say, yes! Redemption King! Yeah, baby! Yeah! He gonna put the bottle down and he's coming out of retirement.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's gonna be Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. And they gonna almost beat Floyd and Manny Pacquiao's record with the most pay-per-views in history. Mark my word. That's if Anthony Joshua don't be confused. Don't try to do too much. And hopefully, like I said, he got a good trainer. So with the experience, that Garcia has, Mikey Garcia's brother, he should be okay. And I think, let me tell you somebody who really did, did a bad justice for their career, who could have went on, man, and made, who could have been a billionaire, who could have actually did more pay-per-view buys, been more of a legend than Floyd Mayweather, and had the blueprint. Anthony Joshua. I haven't saw, other than Muhammad Ali, I haven't saw another likable black African fighter in the history more likable than Anthony Joshua, other than Muhammad Ali. If that man would have made the right decisions and never lost a fight, oh my goodness, that guy per fight would probably make easy $200 million per fight against anybody. 200 million. Listen, he's selling out arenas and he done lost 2 fights. What other fighter that can lose fights and still, especially the same color as you? I mean, you know what I mean? Same color as me, and can still generate the fan base that he can generate. He got the fan base of a UFC fighter. but the money of a Mayweather.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, it's amazing, when you look at, if his career had been brought along the correct way,
Yeah,
or maybe if he had taken, it was just a matter of if he had taken the Deontay Wilder fight before Fury, it might have been a whole different, you
stop it,
know, might have
man.
been
He got hit
a
with that
whole
right
different.
hand.
Well,
Yo,
well, I mean, but things happen. It's going to be interesting to see if he can beat Usyk. Uh,
that's true.
even this second time. I mean, suppose he's just signed that deal with his own.
Yeah.
Suppose he loses to Usyk. You know,
Well,
then what?
hey,
That's
he's so likable. Like I say, he's so likable. He can lose, and they will still forgive him. And
well,
he is the
one
real
one fight that'll
coming to America,
always
Eddie Murphy,
one thing
Akeem.
that will always sell, and I don't care what his record is, but in England, Tyson
Yes,
Fury versus Anthony Joshua will
yes.
always sell.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
So, you
That's what I'm trying to tell you, Doc. Come on, somebody. It's
hey
up
man,
there.
well look here, we've been kicking it around, and it's good to see you back on the
Yes,
show, man.
sir.
Like so, what's happening in K9's corner? It's been a while.
Oh my goodness.
Everybody's waiting.
Oh man. At K9's corner. Hey man, listen. Let's quit playing duck, 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 goose. A lot of fighters are ducking fighters. Let's see the best fight the best. You got a young man who doesn't have a lot of experience, only 23 years old. Let me rewind that. Young man who doesn't have a lot of experience, only 23 years old, willing to go to another man's country to take all his belts and did it. Champions make chances, take chances. And these fighters nowadays ain't taking chances. So Canelo is a real dude. And what did Canelo take? He took a chance. He might have didn't win a fight, but he did take a chance. Jamel Charlo, great fighter. Jamal Charlo, great fighter. But he isn't taking any chances. Chances make champions. Now, Canelo Alvarez is the cash cow. And he said that David Benavidez and Jamal Charlo can fight each other, and then I'll fight the winner. And Charlo said, I don't need him. Canelo said, you do. What Canelo said, Canelo gets. So I'm just saying, man, we can't play duck, duck, goose. That's why I like the junior middleweight division so much. The best division in boxing is the junior middleweight division. The junior middleweight division is my favorite division in boxing, not because I won one world title, not because I won 2 world titles, because the best fight the best. Think about it. Tony Harrison fought Jared Hurd. Jared Hurd fought Tony Harrison. Jared Hurd fought Julian Williams. Julian Williams fought Jared Hurd. Charlo fought Brian Castano. Charlo fought Tony Harrison. Best fight the best. Erickson Lubin fought, and I wish he wouldn't have, Bundrage, the 6'7" giant. I mean, the best fight the best. When I fought at junior middleweight, before the belt got passed around, I fought everybody they put in front of me. 41 years old, got in the ring with a 20-something-year-old, 6'1" giant compared to my height. We got to quit playing duck, duck, goose. Now that Gervonta Davis is a free agent and word on the streets is this is what's going to happen. He's going to sign with PBC. Word on the streets. Breaking news. He's going to sign with PBC. And Mayweather is going to promote some of the fights. So it's going to look like Mayweather is promoting Gervonta Davis because he's promoting one of the fights. So just because Mayweather is promoting for Al Heyman doesn't mean that Gervonta Davis is being promoted by him, if that makes sense, at K9 Boxing. So, JK, no more Doug Goose. The best fight the best. And boxing would be where it was in the 60s. The best got to fight the best. Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence about the fight. And Floyd Mayweather said, ain't nobody gonna know when they about to fight until I tell the whole wide world. Let me rewind that. He said that nobody's gonna know when Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence is gonna fight until I tell you. Now, what kind of diva is that? What kind of it is that? Can I say the cuss word? What kind of it is that? Stop it! At K9 Boxing. JK, you can find me on Instagram at K9 Boxing, Facebook on K9 Boxing. I'm on Twitter at K9 Boxing. And I even got a TikTok. TikTok, you don't stop. Look at me. Woo! Look at me, y'all. Look at me. Let's go, chap. And you know, every Tuesday at 9 p.m., if I ain't got a cold or a headache and I'm too tired, you can find JK if you can't find me. And JK, where you at, man? When you ain't on the dog pound, where you at, champ? Talk to me, champ.
I'm on Facebook. You can catch me on Facebook. You can also catch my political broadcast on Monday, where we talk about prison reform along with some other things. And mostly it's about, preserving the future of our children and how we can do that. So I'm kind of all in on the advocacy, making sure, you get out and vote. And hey, be sure, your vote counts. And K9, with all that craziness going up there in your state,
man,
I mean, hey, just get out and vote, y'all. Make a change. So, hey, I look forward to having you back, K9. Good having you back over there in the other seat, man. And,
oh, yeah.
Glad you guys had a little patience with me while I was going through a little
Yeah.
family situation, man. And
Yeah.
I appreciate you and all the fans, man. And
Yes.
hey,
Everybody tapped in. Let's go, Chief Debo.
hey, and don't forget that hit that like and subscribe button, y'all.
Share the video. Share the channel. Holla at your boy. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. That's
Have a
right,
great one,
JK.
K9.
Have a good
see
night,
you
man.
next week, man.
See you next week.
All right, my man.
Let's go, champ.
And don't forget my hoodie.
Stop
Don't forget my new gear.
Man, it's summertime. Stop it. You ain't heard Eminem's, what's that? Will Smith song? It's summertime.
I
got you, champ. Champ, I got you.
I thought it was slap your mama. I'm sorry.
Mama said,